Good evening and welcome to the July 5th regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting. As a point of order, if everyone could turn off their cell phones. And at this time, if you'd join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to welcome Tracy Speaker, our Midland High School principal. So thanks for joining us tonight. And as our first order of business, Secretary Baker, will you please take roll?
Sure. President Singer.
Here.
Vice President McFarland is absent. Secretary Baker here. Treasurer Fredell.
Here.
Member Blasy.
Here.
Member Lauderbach, he will be here but a little late. And Member Rausch.
Here.
Great, thank you. Okay, moving into item 2, which is the consent agenda. Is there any items on the consent agenda that anyone would like removed and discussed individually? Seeing none, we have consent agenda item 2.1, which is approval of the minutes from June 24th. We have item 2.2, which are the persons recommended for employment for the 2019-20 school year, and there are 20 of them. Item 2.3, which is teachers attaining tenure status. Item 2.4, which is the 2019-20 district school improvement plans. Item 2.5, which is the adoption of Midland School Code Articles 105 and 105C. And item 2.6, which is approval to request to authorize legal payments to Thrun and Lusk. This time, I will entertain a motion.
Move that we approve items 2.1 through 2.6 of the consent agenda.
Support.
Moved by Rausch, support by Fredell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And it passes unanimously. Moving into item 3, we have Board of Education matters. For action, we have tax resolution. Mr. Brutyn?
Yep. Good evening. Historically, this resolution was typically brought to you during the September meetings, but last year, if you recall, Mr. Cooper moved it to the July meeting to assist our local municipalities in being able to get their tax bills prepared a little bit earlier. These numbers won't be a surprise to you tonight because these numbers are what our budget was built on at the previous meeting that you guys already approved. So it'll be a little bit of redundancy, but our action tonight makes these formal and allows us to send a form called the L4029 to our local government agencies. So your action tonight will officially establish 4 different tax rates, the first being the 18 mills on non-homestead properties. Also a hold harmless rate of 1.809 mils. And just a bit of background and history, this goes all the way back to when Proposal A came about. We were allowed to collect an additional $415.31 per student. And every single year, our mill assessment to be able to collect that fluctuates a little bit based on property values, district enrollment, et cetera. So it goes back and forth every single year, and sometimes you have to go back and correct what you did the year before because we're simply estimating now based on, again, our assessment of property values and what our enrollment will be. So this year, that's an increase of approximately 0.12 mils, again, for a rate of 1.809 mils on principal residence, qualifying agricultural and forest property, and industrial personal property. The third rate that you're establishing is the assessment on commercial personal property. That derives from a formula of the 18 mil non-homestead. Those people that pay that tax are exempt from the first 12 mils. So you take 12 mils away from the 18, takes you down to 6, but they're not exempt from the hold harmless rate we just said. So your 6 mils plus your 1.809 gives you an assessment of 7.809 mils on commercial personal property. And then finally, the 2.95 mils on the bond. That is our debt collection that we have, and that fluctuates a little bit annually as well, too. This year, you saw a slight increase of 0.2 mils, and that largely comes from our sale of the Series 2 bonds and our payment on those debt series now as well. So those 4 rates are included again in the resolution that you see before you and on a form called the L4029. This traditionally has been a roll call vote, and if approved tonight, we'll get the signatures from the president, the treasurer, and we'll send those off to our local municipalities so that they can get their tax collections prepared for the year.
Great, thanks, Mr. Brutyn.
You're welcome.
At this time, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the certification resolution for the 2019-20 fiscal year taxes. A complete copy of the resolution shall be attached to the original of these minutes.
Support.
Moved by Rausch, support by Fredell, and is there any discussion or comments? As you said, this was built into the budget. We've already talked about it. Certainly appreciate our community support with the millage, the bond series millage, and we can see all the great things that are happening in our community because of that support. We just got to go and visit so many buildings, and it's wonderful to be investing in our education and our facilities for our kids now and for the future. Okay, I guess we'll roll into a roll call vote.
President Singer.
Yes.
Vice President McFarland is absent. Secretary Baker, yes. Treasurer Fredell.
Yes.
Member Blasy.
Yes.
Member Lauderbach is not here, and Member Rausch.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 yeses.
We have 5 yeses and no nays. So that resolution passes. We'll move into item 4, which is a request to address the board. No hearings have been requested, but would anyone like to speak to the board at this time? Okay, Tracy.
Just briefly. Good evening. I just wanted to formally introduce myself. I know you've heard a little bit about me already. I wanted to say how excited I am to be back home and be back in Midland again. I'm an MSU graduate as well as my husband. We met in the MSU library. And despite 15 years of being in Texas, I still consider myself a Michigander, and I've always spoke about being a Michigander while in Texas. For the past 15 years, I've had a lot of different positions in El Paso. Most recently, I finished my 5th year as principal of Northwest Early College High School. It was a Title I school, so there were many challenges there, but last year it became a blue ribbon high school. I look forward to finally serving children in my own community, and today in my full chemic colors. Wanted to thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming out and introducing you, and we are looking forward to the year and everything that goes on at Midland High, and we are welcoming you with open arms, so thanks for coming out. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Okay, seeing none, then we will move on to item 5, which is administrative services. We have item 5.1, which is for action. We have board policy revisions. Mr. Blasy, do you want to, maybe I'll accept a motion for item 5.1 and then we can talk about it.
Make a motion to adopt the 5 board policies or the policy manuals that are listed in the minutes or in the agenda for tonight.
Support.
Moved by Blasy, support by Baker, and now we'll open it up for discussion. Thank you. Did you have any comments on the board policies or?
It's just a regular update. There are 5 policies listed: definitions, staff technology, use of social media, things that need to be updated as technology and things evolve. And those are just simple updates that were brought to us, and they were distributed to the study committee. We all reviewed them, didn't see any issues with them, and bring them back to the board for adoption.
Okay, great. Very good. All right, if there's no other questions or discussion, then we'll move into a vote. All in favor of accepting item 5.1, which is board policy revision, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And it passes unanimously. We'll move into item 6, which is curriculum instruction and assessment. Item 6.1 is for information on textbooks. Ms. Penny Nelson Miller?
I have it. Yes, we have for you tonight 2 resources that we're presenting to you and the public for the 28-day examination period. I'll draw your attention to the fact that these are not physical printed materials. will be our first presentation, hopefully for your adoption at our next meeting, of online resources. These are open ed resources, so they are open source, free for us to use. The first one is for third grade social studies, and the title is Michigan Studies. It is part of the Michigan Open Book Project. This is a source created for teachers by teachers with strong oversight and vetting of the materials. It's licensed under the Creative Commons non-commercial share-alike license, which makes it open to us. The second resource is very similar. It's the fourth grade social studies. United States Studies is the title, and it is also part of the Michigan Open Book Project. And it is, again, copyrighted under the Creative Commons license. So typically, this is the point where I would say these materials are available outside my office for review. However, this time, if anyone chooses to review those, they can reach out to the curriculum office and we will send them a digital link. And that's how you can review these materials. I'll just add that teachers, as always, we followed our typical review process. So these were teacher-selected materials, vetted closely through our curriculum office and administrative ranks. We're really excited. This is going to take our use of our technology resources, our one-to-one platform, to the next level now that students will have access to these. They are downloadable, so if a student might not have access at home, there still is a way for them to use these resources. And of course, as a last resort, or if the student needs to, we can print them and have them be printed materials. That's completely allowable under the license. So we're just really excited to take this first step, and we're proud of our third and fourth grade teachers for taking this bold step.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Penny, how does that compare to buying books? Is it comparable to buying books for every third and fourth grader to have a book?
Every student will have access to this. It will simply be digital. So in terms of cost, there is no cost affiliated with this other than the cost of our time to transition people to a different format. We've talked a little bit about how we need to help parents understand how this looks a little different and how they can utilize the resource as well.
And it's going to be like up-to-date information, not like a textbook getting
Absolutely,
old.
thank you. So actually, that's one of the highlights of this is that these are dynamic resources. So this should grow with us and change with us. And actually, Melissa Toner does such a better job of explaining this than I do. She talks about how you can, even as a teacher, modify components of this and even submit it back to the project, and it will be vetted and potentially used by other teachers. So it's a really dynamic resource that I think is going to allow us even to personalize learning more for students than a typical textbook would.
I just wanted people to be aware of that.
Thank you for that.
The other plus is the backpacks will be a little lighter because it's
Absolutely.
two less books in your backpack,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Very good, thank you for that update. Okay, we'll move into item 7, which is finance, facilities, and operations. We have item 7.1, which is for information, and those are the gifts. Mr. Brutyn?
Yep. First two gifts of the year to present to you tonight, just for information only. These two gifts total a couple pennies underneath $2,518. The first is from Mr. Jacobson Clare, $1,168.91 for food service scholarships to assist students with paying for meals. And the second is from Chad and Danielle Fox, and they gave us $1,349 to send the Central Park therapy dog Luna to therapy dog training, where the dog is right now. So we appreciate both of their generosities.
Yes.
So our teachers are going to training, and now our therapy dogs are going to training.
Correct.
That's all good.
Yep.
I'm excited about both of these things. Mr. Sinclair, this is his second year of raising funds for scholarships to pay off food debt. So I just think that's a really neat project, and show these kids that even a younger gentleman cares about whether or not they have the money to buy their lunch, and it just is a great feeling to know that happens. And then the therapy dog, I'm looking forward even to meeting the therapy dog, and I know that'll bring lots of smiles over there at Central Park. Okay, we'll move into item 8, which is correspondence to and from the Board of Education. We have 8.1, which is for information, letters from the Board of Education, and listed in our agenda who those letters will go to. Item 8.2, also for information, is letters to the Board of Education from the Mackinac Center for Public Policy, requesting information regarding claim utilization and cost information for the district's medical benefit plan. Moving into item 9, which is scheduled activities for information. We have all of our regular and special meetings are listed on the agenda, and they're all at the administration center. Item 10, which is our study discussion session. We'll go through our study discussion session and then we will move into a closed session. So I'll give everybody an opportunity to make a comment on this evening. Start with Brad.
We've had so many meetings that I don't really have a lot to say. Just welcome everybody to town for the Great Lakes Bay Invitational, and hopefully the weather cooperates and all the festivities around town and downtown and all over, and it'll be exciting.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that I appreciate the chance to be part of the SOAR Summit, Inclusion Summit that's going to take place tomorrow. Intend to learn a lot while I'm there. And very excited about the renovations and construction that's going on in our district. It's nice to see the progress that's being made, and near and dear to my heart, Dow High's laboratory space that used to be my space, and to see it changes being made, it's just phenomenal. So looking forward to seeing the finished product.
Thanks, Mary. Lynn?
Yeah, I too enjoyed our tour tonight to Adams and Dow High. It is fun to see. You walk in, and even though you've been in those buildings many times, when they've taken out the walls and are moving things, I think, what did it look like? So now I'm really excited to see what it will be. And also the press box at Midland High, when I drive by, it just keeps getting a little bigger and bigger, and so it'll be fun to see everything come together. And welcome to Tracy, who is the new principal, and all our new teachers that we approved tonight. Several of them were my kids in my kids' class, so it makes me feel like maybe I am getting a little older when the teachers are now the kids' ages. So and Penny, that digital program for social studies, I'll probably want you to send me the link, because I'm really excited to see what that's all about. So, and enjoy this rest of the summer, everyone.
I don't have anything to add other than what was already said.
Okay. I guess the only new thing I would include was I looked over all the school improvement plans that were out there and all the time that went into it, to so many administrators, teachers, board members, and community members. And I look forward to reviewing those and just seeing what each of our buildings' plans are and what their focus is going to be for the year. So I do enjoy that. And I think you all covered everything else I was going to say, so I'll move right to Mike.
So we did our construction visit tonight, and you saw the buildings in demolition phase, so it is hard to see what they're gonna be envisioned. There's a little bit of nervousness there on being on time, but it's not like we're drastically behind. It's a day or two here or there. Some issues going on, I think, because the early spring weather put some of those things behind, but they're moving along. The press boxes, we hear a day or two behind. The HVAC equipment at Dow High we knew was a pretty big grab, and I think they're feeling a little nervous about that one still, but you got to see some of that tonight as we went around the district. I wrote to you a little bit about transitions. I mean, if you just look at the list, and I only listed the leaders, principals in the district, I begin to look and say after 6 years, I think I've darn near had a new administrator in almost every role at this point in time. And so I think it's going to be vital for the four of us in the room tonight to become mentors and make sure we follow. You know, Tracy's got, for example, has good experience, but she's very new to Michigan and new to our district. So mentoring is going to be really vital for us as we go forward into the year. And we've talked about that as a group as well. And I think that is all I have for you tonight. Was there one other item? Oh, advertisements. And so, you know, we're really not out advertising against our fellow local education units, but as you know, we have to compete with parochial schools and at one point a charter school and some private schools, and so it's important that we get the Midland Public name out there. And we've done so for a month or so in the movie theater, and then we had the opportunity with the charter closing to look at that billboard sign, and if you've noticed today, it was up. And so it's up, and get our name and keep it in front of people, and communicate all the good things we do for kids here at Midland Public Schools. So that's it.
Very good, thank you. Well, next on our agenda, we'll be going into closed session, and how this works is we'll go into closed session, and then we'll have to come back out of closed session to adjourn the meeting, but we don't really do.
No, you will take action potentially tonight if you decide to.
Okay, so we'll take action on, after our closed session, and then we'll adjourn the meeting right after that. So you're welcome to stay, but at that point, we'll move everyone outside, and then after closed session is finished, we'll come back.
So we need a motion to.
So right now, we need a motion to go into closed session to discuss a written attorney-client privilege document.
So I move that we go into closed session to discuss a written attorney-client privilege document.
Support?
Moved by Mary, support by Phil. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go into a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we'll go into closed session. Are we good to go? Okay, we're back in open session, and we're just coming out of our closed session, and we will go into item 12, which is consideration of legal agreement. We have for action our legal agreement.
I move that the board authorize Superintendent Michael Sharrow to execute a settlement agreement between the district and the parents of a student on terms that have been shared with the board.
Support?
Moved by Lauderbach, support by Rausch. Is there any, do we do discussion? Is there any comments? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes unanimously. We'll move into item 13, which is adjournment. I would accept a motion for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Moved by Fredell, support by Lauderbach. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And we're adjourned.